Happy Fedmas, everyone. Yeah, God, fucking, we're just gonna take a quick tour around the internet here real quick and take a look at the different homepages of these different Spurg outlets. And first we're gonna start with CNN because, of course, they're gonna have the most measured response. And oh, Jesus, all of a sudden they just decided to update? That was fun. But yeah, no, obviously nothing has really changed. They've got, what, a couple dozen articles that are there. See Jake Tapper's plea to Republicans. What, just die already? You got Joe Biden over there yelling in the most animated he looked during his speech, which is going to be the guts of this article, or this video here, rather, and giving some free publicity to Sean Hannity, I guess. Check him out at 9 o'clock Eastern or some shit. I don't know when the fuck his show is. Don't really care either. But what about MSNBC? Oh my god, in fiery speech, Biden places January 6th blame squarely on Trump's web of lies, even though he didn't say the name Trump once during his speech, but whatever. And oh yes, these new Sean Hannity texts expose Trump's madness. I see that they're both drinking out of the same well when it comes to this. Blame Trump, talk about Sean Hannity, people who are more popular and important than you. What about ABC? They have to have a little bit more of a measured response. Well, they're talking about Dick Cheney, who we're going to in a minute, and Senator Cardin, a Democrat from Maryland. All right, January 6th live updates. Biden tears into Trump for inciting Capitol attack. I thought it was an insurrection. Anyways, well, what about from the other side? New York Post really seems to care. They're actually talking about real criminals. Okay, good for them. How about Epoch Times? New York protesters rally against vaccine bills in Albany. Okay, but then a little bit further down, they have a couple of articles there, which I would recommend. They're fairly lengthy and they're pretty extensive about the people who are still in captivity and all that kind of fun stuff. And I was going to talk about those a little bit later, but the video would be far too long anyway. So, okay, yeah, they're really taking this stuff seriously again. Other than, you know what, hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz down there, did the feds incite January 6 riots? I don't know. And then you got Breitbart. Well, they're running some inflammatory articles and taking a look at what Ted Cruz had to say, but we'll get to that shortly. But some more articles from Breitbart themselves. As you can see, this is a big deal to the people in Washington. Most people are like, oh, January 6th. What is it? Chinese New Year? Ukrainian Christmas? I don't know what's really so special about the day, but whatever. Then you got Barack Obama out here. He has to, of course, if Joe Biden's going to be doing anything, you might as well check in with his old boss because he's got something to say about this as well. Our democracy is at a greater risk today than it was on January 6th. Isn't that a bit of an indictment as to what Joe Biden's been doing when he's in office? Oh, okay. But what about some Republicans that are down there, okay? Don't need to hear the divisive language of the once great black hope, okay? Let's see from the people who are there today and the only Republicans to turn up to this fucking monstrosity, this absolute song and dance, okay? Because literally theater. Okay, Pelosi has Hamilton cast members saying as part of January 6th remembrance. Yeah, it literally had cast members, fucking Broadway people who actually can't, you know what, enact their play because Broadway's been shut down again because Macoof, right? But yeah, no, called on Lin-Manuel Miranda, that woke sack of shit. Yeah, they had a song and dance because this is a very serious event. But yeah, no, what did Dick and Liz Cheney have to say? It's so nice that Dick Cheney went down to Washington. It's also sad that this whole commission and everybody who's down there trying to commemorate January 6th had to import an attempted murder in order to find somebody who is actually violent. But the former Vice President Dick Cheney and daughter Representative Liz Cheney, for now, soon she'll be able to put that former disclaimer on her name as well. Join Democrats for Thursday's January 6th festivities at the Capitol building after Democrats reportedly introduced themselves on the House floor to the former Vice President Dick Cheney, slammed the Republican leadership for enacting America First policies. Hey, you're supposed to be selling out to Mexico and taking all of those shitty jobs over there. That's their job. Can't I go find some place to go invade? While praising his daughter for doing a hell of a job combating those policies. That's fair. Yep, she's definitely not there for the interests of the American people. She's there to enrich her family, okay? Carpetbagging in places like Wyoming. where she would never, ever be in threat of losing her job if she would have just kept her fucking head down. So yeah, she's doing a hell of a job of fucking up your lackadaisical legacy, okay? Or maybe re-enshrining it. Depends on who you ask. There's not a leadership that resembles any of these folks I knew when I was here 10 years ago. Dick Cheney, who is a former House whip in the 80s. I'm deeply disappointed. We don't have better leadership in the Republican Party to restore the Constitution. Cool. Can we just have somebody go take him out quail hunting? That would be great. Yeah, but, kind of teased this inadvertently a little bit earlier, but what the fuck is Ted Cruz on about, okay? Like, I would excuse him if it was just a Twitter post. It's like somebody's intern out there got a little bit too avarice with their fucking thesaurus out there. But no, he said this actually when Senate had convened, and it's retarded. It's retarded that Ted Cruz would say this. You've been so good for so long, Ted. You were one of the guys who was up there. You were contesting some of those votes. You were the chosen one, and you fucked up. Ted Cruz roasted for claiming January 6th was a violent terrorist attack. How many people have been charged with terrorism? How many people have been charged with insurrection, too? Another question we'll be asking here in a minute. Ted Cruz received backlash for claiming on Wednesday the January 6th riot was a violent terrorist attack. Oh, okay, so this was yesterday. Okay, I guess this came in under the wire. Didn't see it. Well, Cruz may have ambitions to run for president in 2024. He's run that out there. But again, there's one guy who's going to be running, and that's why they're Democrats are starting to bat around the idea of the 14th Amendment to try to block Trump from ever holding public office again. It's a bold move, Cotton. See if it pays off. Not you, Tom. We are approaching a solemn anniversary this week, and the anniversary of a violent terrorist attack at the Capitol. What? I think, like, the most aggressive thing you could say was it was a riot that happened. Like, okay, not a laugh riot, you know, that's just all the cleanup afterwards. It's like, I guess it was very traumatic and very hard on the glass repair people in Washington, D.C. because they had to kind of postpone all of their work to create and build those plexiglass dividers that are literally everywhere. So they had to go back to their regular day job. But outside of that, you won't ever address the people who actually lost their life that day. Ashley Babbitt, you won't ever do that. But it was a violent terrorist attack. Go on, Ted. Let's see what's on. Let's see what you're on about. Many Republicans reacted to the statement with derision and suggested Cruz was betraying the Republican Party. Nah, he just kind of had a mental lapse in judgment. He's going to have to go ahead and build up a little bit more of a repertoire of idiotic statements in order for me to throw him away quite yet. Sebastian Gorka suggested that Cruz had been compromised. Who got to Ted Cruz? Okay, Seb, just calm down for a minute. Jim Hansen, I don't know who that is. It's not the Kermit the Frog guy. Said Cruz is helping the left abuse state power and shut down dissent. Oh my God, you guys should spurg out harder. And whoever this Jason Campbell guy is wearing the tablecloth in his Twitter profile picture, retweeted a clip from Newsmax. Oh, they're still relevant? Cool. The recount noted it is interesting that Cruz doesn't specify who the terrorists were in this case. Perhaps he believes that it was incited by the feds all along. Okay, fair enough. Let's get into the speeches there because they were hilarious. Yep, Kamala Harris, she literally said this. January 6th, like bombing of Pearl Harbor and 9/11 attacks. She's a real human being. She's a real person. Vice President Kamala Harris kicked off Biden's administration's remarks on the anniversary of January 6th Capitol riot by comparing it to the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941 or the terrorist attacks in September 11th, 2021. How could you make that logical leap? Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly... I'm sorry for that. Remind us all who have lived throughout them. There were... Oh, they... What? They were there and what they are doing when our democracy came under assault. Dates that occupy not only a place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 41. September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021. Yes, where were you? And if it was up to them, they would still have a fucking commemoration date for the day that Derek Chauvin ascended the great St. Floyd into that giant fentanyl factory in the sky. More than 2,400 Americans died in the Pearl Harbor attack. Nearly 3,000 Americans died at the 9/11 terror attacks. But who dropped Building 7? Anyways, Harris, who participated in Black Lives Matter protests outside the White House in May of 2020, just hours after rioters attacked police. around the building, injuring dozens, assaulting journalists, and forcing the evacuation of the president into the bunker, declared of the Capitol rioters what they sought to degrade and destroy is not only a building, no, it's literally just a building, that they in fact pay for with their tax dollars. And the people who were there that rioted that day, we know that they were all working, okay, because they've all lost their jobs because they're either incarcerated or they were put on a no-fly list or they were just fired from their jobs for being in Washington, D.C. that day, not even necessarily going into the Capitol building. But no, please tell us how this is hallowed ground and you guys aren't trying to make religious allegories. It's not only a building, hallowed as it is. There it is. What they were assaulting were the institutions, the values, the ideals, the prophets, the cardinals, and the Pope himself. Anyways, generations of Americans have marched, picketed, and shed blood to establish and defend. Probably like their ancestors, but whatever, you continue there, VP. She spread claims of Russian collusion with Trump, warned Americans about peddling lies and information by some radical faction that may be resurgent, but whose roots run old and deep, hinting at Donald Trump, but not saying his name, because now he's like Voldemort. Kind of like what Biden did as well. He seeks, just look at this headline. It's fucking baffling, okay? Biden seeks to unify the nation. Okay, that's good. He keeps trying to seek this, but then he undercuts it with what he has to say. Like saying he's going to be unifying the nation against the former president. Who's that? Bill Clinton? No more sexual predators holding public office. Wait, where's everybody going? And his supporters. Oh, okay, so like literally half the country. All right, at least 74 million people. Okay, in January 6th speech. Cool. You're doing a good job there, Joe. President Joe Biden's addressed the nation Thursday morning from the Capitol this morning, while the press office claimed prior to his speech that his intention would be to unify the country. Biden spoke from Statutory Hall. It's kind of like something else I like to engage in. Not now, Joe. And he let Vice President Kamala Harris warble on for a few minutes. Harris compared the riot at the Capitol building to the Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor and the bombing and terrorist attacks of 9/11, and we already went through that, and she looked very serious while doing that. 1 year ago today, in this sacred place, democracy was attacked. Simply attacked. Oh, it was pretty complex. Like, you had a bunch of people getting let in from different entrances around the Capitol. Anyways. Praised the Capitol Police and D.C. Metro, who was also being told to stand down by Nancy Pelosi, but she couldn't be reached for comment on this day. She was trying to orchestrate different Broadway performances and different recitations of the Black National Anthem. And he condemned the actions of Trump supporting rioters 1 year ago. Fair enough. People who committed riot, they should probably be condemned, but I'm sure he's not going to get hyperbolic at all. He said that those rioters failed. They failed! Well, if they failed so bad, why do you continue to keep bringing them up at every single opportunity? I'm just saying. It is egregious and unfathomable to Biden that rioters breached the Capitol and brought Confederate flags with them. A crowd that professes to love for law enforcement assaulted police officers. Well, so do police officers assault people, but whatever. Dilly-dally. He said, quoting an officer who said the day was like a medieval battle. Cool. Like when you were, trampling people and pushing doors closed on them. Anyways. And that is scarier than fighting in Iraq. I'm sure some desk jockey who was there that day is probably a little bit scarier than some of the pictures that came out of Iraq. We saw with our own eyes rioters menace these halls, threaten the life of the Speaker of the House. How'd they do that? Stealing her podium? Literally erecting gallows. They were literally attacking us, guys. He's literally Hitler. We gotta stop him. Erecting gallows to hang the Vice President of America. Yeah, across the street. Putting up a couple of 2x4s that couldn't even support your vice president, but I digress. What we didn't see was a former president who just rallied the mob to attack sitting in a private dining room of the Oval Office of the White House, watching it all on television. Wait, so Trump was rallying a mob, okay, which they failed to prove at any one of their multiple fucking investigations. Okay, but then he was also in a dining room at the White House. In fact, there's a dining room in the Oval Office. Cool. Watching everything on television. I didn't know there was a TV in the Oval Office either. That's cool. But neither does Joe. Biden claimed the riot was an armed insurrection. How many people have been charged with insurrection, Joe? How many people? Made up of people trying to subvert the Constitution. I can't believe I actually said that. But let me try to break your 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights by forcing my vaccine mandates on everyone. The former president of the United States of America. Fuck them. Impersonation. Former president of the United States of America has created and spread a web of lies about the 2020 election. He has done so because he values power over principle. Projection much? Because he sees his own interest as more important than his country's interest and America's interest. Oh, okay, cool. He was the one pushing America first. You're the one pushing America somewhere down the line. We need to be more supportive and thankful for our friends and allies. And because his bruised ego matters more to him than the democracy or our Constitution. Again, this is a whole heaping load of horseshit projection, if I've ever seen so myself. Biden also slammed Republicans of the America First movement. It's racist and xenophobic. Also not naming them personally because he can't quite remember who's a part of the America First caucus. There are guys like Teddy Roosevelt and claiming these are the people who are opposed to America and seeking their own power. Literally, America First. You guys are against America and you guys just want power for yourself. No, it's literally all about America and America's interest. But okay, cool, whatever you want. Again, this is all fucking nonsense that we're just gonna laugh at instead of take seriously. This apparently is how Biden is seeking to unify the country. Yeah, exactly. But more, I don't care what the rest of the editorialization is. I want to see more about what Joe Biden had to say, okay? But one of the big lines that came out of this was that breach of the U.S. Capitol that took place a year ago and promised to let no one place a dagger at the throat of our democracy. I don't think this shambling old fucking Jim Henson Creature Show Muppet is gonna be defending literally anything, okay? All you'd have to do is just throw a fucking bottle of L'Oreal's No More Tears down the hallway and you distract him for a half hour. Speaking from the Capitol, Biden recounted how the mob entered the building and clashed with law enforcement officers in an attempt to stop the certification of electoral votes. We saw it with our own eyes. Rioters menaced these halls, threatening the vice president, and all that jazz. Here's the truth. Look, here's the deal. Oh, he brought back an oldie but goodie. A former president of the United States, who's that, Joe? Has created and spread a web of lies about the 2020 election. We don't do that about the 2016 election, though. We're not hypocrites. He's done so because he values power over principle. Because he sees his own interests as more important and his country's interest and America's interest. Yeah, that's why the country was in a better position during Trump's presidency than it was under yours, under every conceivable metric, but whatever. But Trump maintains that he was the true winner of what exactly? We can't say on YouTube. You can think to yourself, kids. Capitol breach came after multiple events held to protect the 2020 election results. A subset of the thousands of people in Washington, including supporters of Trump, entered the Capitol, and also James Earl Sullivan, a noted Antifa member and CNN contributor, also entered the Capitol building, took videos and photos, and including the little old lady with her little fucking flag in the halls of Congress, and then after everybody was just asked politely to leave, they helped with cleanup of trash. But you know what? Hey, no, it was truly one of the darkest days in American democracy history and our Constitution, whatever the fuck else they want to say, and clashed with law enforcement inside and outside the building. One of them, Ashley Babbitt, 35, was shot fatally by the Capitol Police officer, Lieutenant Michael Byrd. Never forget his name either, because he should also be held on murder charges while attempting to climb through a broken window of a barricaded door leading to the speaker's lobby. A broken window leading to the speaker's lobby at the top of a staircase where more better armed police officers weren't fucking trying to mow down everybody. The officer wasn't charged following an investigation done by the Capitol Hill Police Department. We have found out that we did a good job. Biden's remark drew a response from Trump, and that's what we're going to get at here, and that's how we're going to close everything out, of course. Asserted the president is working hard to try and deflect the incompetent job he's doing, yep, and has done, yep, on the horrible Afghanistan withdrawal, surrender, the borders, COVID, inflation, loss of energy independence, and much more. Yeah, but you only have so many letters that you can put in a statement. Everything he touches turns to failure, and that's what you get when you have a something election. Yep. Democrat lawmakers promoted Biden's speech. Yeah, of course, they fucking sat there and fluffed and jerked off into their own mouth over this speech. A very powerful and important speech by POTUS. Oh my god. How could you get out this statement with Biden's withered old cock in your mouth? Oh, thank you for reminding us all that our democracy is what we make of it. We must strengthen our democratic institution and protect the right to vote. I agree. Election integrity laws are very important. Oh, wait, you don't want to pass those? Oh, okay, they're racist and such? Oh, okay, cool. Which is under attack in states across the country. Representative Dan Kildee of Michigan, talking about more government intervention. Okay. One of the finest and most powerful speeches President Biden has ever delivered. Well, that's not necessarily a high bar. And one of the most important, fucking put some respect on that name. Change it. It better be short for like Donnell or something like that. Iyer, a Democrat from Virginia, wrote on Twitter, Others echoed Biden and calling for a breach and calling the breach an insurrection. Yeah. Though none among the hundreds have been charged with insurrection or sedition or terrorism or really anything. And when they are convicted, remember, they're basically just given a fucking trespassing fee. Attorney General Merrick Garland said on January 5th that the Department of Justice is committed to holding all January 6 perpetrators at any level accountable under the law, brother. Except for the one who, I was going to have this article as well pulled up, but you guys remember there was like actually bombs placed on January 6th, okay? They were placed at the Republican National Committee's office and the Democrats National Committee office in Washington. Okay, there were 2 pipe bombs that were placed there, both, one at each place. And that person, even though they have him on video, okay, they have the hooded figure on video. I haven't done any investigation into that, and a year later, still don't know who the fuck that was. So, yeah, really getting to the bottom of a bunch of this stuff. But some Republicans offered a similar perspective as Trump, including Lindsey Graham. Imagine this, okay? We're having to praise the comments of Lindsey Graham and condemn Ted Cruz in the same video. What the fuck is going on? Who said the speeches from Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were an effort to resurrect a failed presidency more than marking the anniversary of a dark day in American history. The Biden presidency 1 year after January 6th is in free fall, not because of the attack on our capital, but because of the failed policies and weak leadership. The Biden administration seems to be incapable of dealing with the challenges America faces, and the efforts to politicize January 6th will fall flat. I certainly hope so, because this should be the one and only day of commemoration, but Biden or whatever, one of his underlings are going to be in charge for the next couple of years. So anticipate January 6th, 2023 and 2024 to have similar fucking days of insanity. But, yeah, man, all of this shit fucking rings hollow when you aren't talking about people like Ashley Babbitt, who were shot dead on that day. And instead, I don't know, you still continue to just march out weirdos like the Hugh Shaman, whose defense is that he's literally retarded. So whatever, man. Let's talk about some crazier shit after this. And we got 2 sports stories. One is a follow-up, and another one is just these hoes running wild. So hope everybody has a very solemn January 6th, and you take a moment to reflect on the most dangerous day in American history. Yeah, what a fucking sham. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.